The WoW token. Why does everybody hate it? Today we're going to be talking about the WoW token. So my background is from playing RuneScape, and for anybody who's played RuneScape, whether that's RS3 or old school, you'll know that RuneScape has bonds, which are effectively the same thing as the WoW token. It is an in-game item that you can buy with real game gold, or you can purchase with money, and vice versa. You can either buy it with money and then sell it in-game, or you can buy it with gold and use it to get in-game membership playtime, which is effectively the same thing as the WoW token. I decided to do a little bit of research into what the WoW community thinks and says about the WoW token, and also private servers, which they kind of go hand in hand with each other when you're talking about the WoW token. I mentioned private servers because on the classic WoW subreddit, I guess they had a rule against advertising private servers for classic versions of the game, and they've now since disabled that rule due to the WoW token being introduced into Wrath of the Lich King Classic. So I decided to do a little bit of research into why people dislike the WoW token. I think the main thing is that people seem to feel like it devalues their grind, where you could just buy a WoW token and sell it for gold. I don't know how much stuff costs in Classic, and I feel like that's where a little bit of that context comes in. The bond in RuneScape, the last time I remember seeing it, it was at about 6 million gold pieces to buy one. But there's also a big difference between RuneScape and WoW in that RuneScape has a free-to-play mode where you could essentially, if you grinded for a very long time, I'd like to mention, or got lucky and had some member come along and drop you, like 20 million gold or like 10 or 15 million gold, you could effectively buy yourself a bond and become a member. Now, you could sustain that membership by, again, playing for a very long time, but that's the difference between the pay to play or pay to win or being free to play. So RuneScape has that a little bit differently than WoW, where WoW only has one mode where you pay to play the game. So people see it as just a legitimate way to buy gold, where buying gold is technically not allowed in WoW, or selling gold or whatever, which I never understood. If it's an in-game item, if people want to pay to buy an in-game item, they should be allowed to do that. If somebody wants to pay to get a fire cape, then let them buy a fire cape. If people want to buy a WoW token or buy WoW gold or buy some armor or weapons or whatever, let them do it. I don't see a problem with it personally. I mean, it just opens up a new market. It opens up, people are more willing to go play your game. It's like, hey, I can come in here and I can grind this game a ton, and I can, work really hard, and I can get this gold or get these items, and I can sell them for real world money. Like, people will look at it as a pay to win, although technically WoW's already got a shit ton of pay to win stuff and microtransactions and whatnot already built into the game. But gold sellers already existed, so I don't really see a big problem with having the WoW token. A big thing that I've seen a lot of people talk about when it comes to the WoW token or private servers as well, this is they really, the private server thing ties in with the WoW token topic because of bots. So a lot of people mention bots. So like, there's not any active GMs to ban bots or gold buyers, which again, I don't see a problem with it. I do have a problem with the amount of bots that are in the game to spam for gold selling websites. It's a big problem in old school RuneScape, as well as I'm sure it is a huge problem in WoW, considering that in WoW there's global chat. There probably already are guilds and people that buy tons of gold anyway, so I don't really see what the big problem with the WoW token is. So one positive that I see with having something like the WoW token, or as I said before, having the bonds in old school RuneScape, is that players can now effectively play for free. So if they, let's say that World of Warcraft is the only game that they play, and if they grind enough and they play enough, players can essentially earn game time for free. And I think that's maybe one reason why people don't like the WoW token. It kind of devalues the people that pay $15 a month to play. And I also don't know how much playtime, how much game time a WoW token is worth. In RuneScape, bonds are only worth like 15 days, so it's not worth a whole month. Where the whole month you could pay like whatever it is, like It's like 12. It's like $11 or $12 or something, and you can get a full month, whereas a bond only gets you like 15 days of playtime. So yeah, I mean, I look at it in a different light than a lot of people do. It's just most people are looking at it's just another microtransaction that Activision Blizzard is putting into the game. I saw a lot of people were talking about private servers. So private servers are really a nice thing. And actually, somebody brought up a good point. There's a lot of people in third world countries, or just other countries that have a poor economy that cannot afford to pay the $15 a month sub, but want to play WoW. And I do remember playing. I don't remember exactly what private server was. This was a long time ago. This is probably like 2011, maybe 2012 at the time. And I did try out one WoW private server, but I didn't really know what I was doing, and I don't think they were as popular. It's probably a hell of a lot more popular now. Private servers are probably a lot more popular now than they were back then, and just because of how everything's gone down with Classic and the microtransactions that Activision Blizzard has put into the game, I'd be interested to try them out, honestly. I know that people kind of look down on private servers or whatever. The other thing is it's run by players/fans of World of Warcraft. So you're going to have people that are really trying to take care of the game. Now, obviously, private servers have some kind of cash shop. Pretty much all of them have a way to donate or to or have some kind of cash shop in them. But that's just a way for people to be able to donate to the server to keep up with server costs and things like that. So most people don't really fault them for that. The games are usually free to play. Private servers are usually free to play, and so that's just a way for them to give back. I think where people have a big problem with the way that Activision Blizzard has been running World of Warcraft is that you pay $15 a month for a sub, but what's different is that they're just trying to, when it comes to Activision Blizzard, they're just trying to recoup that money from lost subs that they've been losing over the years. So they've started introducing more and more microtransactions. Now you got the WoW token, you can buy mounts, you can buy different gear, you can buy boosts, you can buy all kinds of stuff from the shop for WoW. And I don't really mind that. I think it's something nice, especially considering how old the game is. For players that have already been playing, that want to make a new character, they can just boost their character all the way up to 90. Although I do think some of the prices on the stuff that they sell is absolutely ridiculous on some of the stuff that they offer. I'm just like, you have to pay to transfer a character. It's like fucking expensive. So yeah, guys, ultimately, I don't really understand why everybody has such a big problem with the WoW token. In my opinion, look, if you don't want to buy any of the microtransactions that are in the cash shop, don't buy them. I mean, it's simple as that. If you don't want to pay more than just the $15 a month to play, you don't have to. And that's really I don't think any more needs to be said. I do understand people, it's a scary territory. Okay, we add this microtransaction. Okay, people don't seem to really dislike it that much. Okay, well, now we'll add more and more and more, things to the game. But, I mean, ultimately, gacha games like Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact are extremely popular. And those have tons of microtransaction and cash shop features. But I think, along with old school RuneScape, I think a big difference is that those games are all free to play, where while you have to pay the $15 a month sub to play. Where it makes sense in a free-to-play game, they want to make some money, so they have all these options for you. If you want to play the game for free, you can. You just have to grind, and you have to put in an obscene amount of hours to be able to reach the same position that somebody, for instance, in old school RuneScape, who pays for a membership fee, they can essentially advance their character a lot quicker than somebody who's free-to-play. In Genshin or Honkai, you can whale your characters, you can buy a ton of the pack openings or chest openings or whatever. I don't really know a lot about those games. I'll be honest, my buddy Kyle could probably do a better job telling you about those. But there are means in the game to be able to advance your account or your characters by spending real money, which in my opinion, that's how I think it should be. If Blizzard wants to have all these microtransactions in their game, they should just make the game free to play, and then And they could do it like RuneScape. They could have a membership fee that gets them something like, hey, maybe you pay for membership and that unlocks the higher tier raids, you know what I'm saying? But hey, if you want to do the whatever heroic and the mythic tiers of difficulties of the raids, you have to pay the membership fee. And I know people have talked about WoW needing to go free to play. I still think that WoW Classic should be free to play. You can level up to level 60, do all the base Classic content for free, and I think you'd see a huge influx of players. And with a huge influx of players comes a percentage of those players are going to buy something. A huge percentage of those players are potentially going to pay the $15 a month or whatever. I do think the Classic should have a lower fee. I think that they should stop with Wrath. I'd say what is looked at as Classic WoW is OG, Burning Crusade, and Wrath. Has always, as far as I can tell, has always seemed to be what people consider the good old days of WoW, and that's what I would consider Classic. But my original point was that all those games are free to play, where WoW is not free to play, but they've introduced all these different microtransactions. So ultimately, I look at it as like, I don't really see what the problem is with the WoW token and having it in Classic. I don't see a problem with it at all, in my opinion. I think that if you don't want to buy these things, don't buy them. I mean, simple as that. You know, that's just my 2 cents about it. Obviously, you know, I could be wrong, and probably a lot of people will say that I'm wrong with my take on it. My take is it's not really that big of a deal, and people need to stop getting their panties in a bunch about the microtransactions. Hey, you know, I agree that I think that certain portions of the game should be free to play. Classic should be free to play. It would probably bring in a lot of people into the game, but because it's not, people are going to complain about the cash shop. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. You know, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm sure that I have a very vastly different take on this than a lot of people do. I also think that if you have a problem with the cash shop, go play private servers. Hey, I'm sure those private servers would love the membership that Retail WoW has. So just some thoughts there for you guys. And thank you. And I just want to tell you guys have a great day.